Aloha and welcome to the night before my PsyD program starts. So, wow. 2016, May, I came to Hawaii. December, I stopped drinking. Started smoking a lot of pot in order to not drink because I thought that would be a good solution. A lot. I was sat down in my apartment without any furniture and a beanbag chair, and I loved the apartment. I was so grateful to have a secure place to live, but I was still afraid to furnish it. I was still afraid to make it my own. I slept on an air mattress for a long time, and I sat on a beanbag chair, and I would go to work at my matchmaking company. And not mine, but it was the universe's way of telling me that telling me I need to get better at relationships because my wife left me almost as soon as we moved to Hawaii. I had a bit of a rumspringa. Got in touch with that teenage part of me that never partied and didn't get to have a lot of fun and felt repressed. And his parents, thought he was a sickly kid and didn't let him do sports or go to, you know, all the fun things. His mother died when he was 17. Didn't grieve that until 2 weeks ago. And found ketamine. Ketamine brought me out of my depression. Molly brought me out of social anxiety. Started dancing, started doing yoga, a little bit, acro yoga. Stopped smoking because I realized that was detrimental to me and it was just putting me in a haze and I wasn't able to accomplish anything. And then 2018, I continued to do some ketamine and lost a group of friends over that. They couldn't understand and I couldn't voice what I was doing or that I was addicted or and I was still hiding and burying my emotions and my feelings. 2019, I started selling timeshare because that's what you do when you have an MBA. You sell timeshare, and did all right. It wasn't great. The market wasn't great by 2019 for timeshare. Airbnb had taken most of that away, and 20 August, met a Japanese girl that year. We dated for a while. Then she left. I was open and vulnerable and liked her a lot and put a lot of emotion into that relationship. And then when she left and my 3 years in that apartment were up, I kind of a breakdown severely, more than before, more than just like short bursts of mania and depression, and ended up in a hospital with really, really, really bad alcohol withdrawal symptoms. And I hadn't been drinking. The stress of selling timeshare and the people I was with, the energies I was around, I was like, oh yeah, I can drink. And the girl drank, and I was like, oh, I'm stable enough, I can drink. I can do anything. Turns out when your mind is fucked up over so many years of doing all these things, and your dopamine reward system is blown out. You can't do all of those things, nor should you have done them in the first place, because Jesus Christ, wow. And I was homeless. Well, basically, I lived with a girl in my building. The building manager snitched, and we both got kicked out because of the terms of the lease of her place. I was fortunate enough to be taken in by a former stripper and drug addict. A lot of cocaine. Like, a lot. She'd been sober for about 11 years when we met, and she took me in. She let me stay at her place. I owe her a great deal of gratitude and debt because I did not have my shit together. And I should have probably been homeless. And then Corona happened. I had about not a lot of money in my bank account, just enough to cover some rent at a place that opened up with this, at a friend's place, sleeping on the couch, but at least had a place to sleep. And then I got unemployment, and I met a girl, and I tried to make that work with her. And I say girl because she was a girl, and we had no idea what we were doing, and she should not have been in Hawaii running away from whatever she was running away from. And I was trying to rebuild my life back, and I thought, okay, I've got my life back, and here's a beautiful girl, and I have unemployment, and I have a place to live. Let's make this work. But still, it's like being pulled back into addiction and into habits of the past, and hiding out. And she eventually left, went even more crazy. It's very beautiful. I hope she's okay today. I wish I could have given her more. It's a very fine line, like trying to be a mentor, trying to be the highest version of you when you can be the highest version of you, and but also being in love with someone who's 16, 15 years younger than you are. It was like almost exactly like my ex-wife. Their birthdays were even one day apart, and like 12 years zodiacally, I think, too, something like that. So spot on. And maybe it wasn't 12 years. Who knows how they were different apart. And we bounced around from Airbnb to Airbnb, and I was trying to make it work with her instead of focusing on me and not just saying goodbye to her, feeling an obligation to her for some reason. Either way, whatever. Finally found a place in the end of 2020 that I thought was going to be a stable place. Ended up not being a stable place. And I kept it's like, here's where I want to be, but here's where I am now. But let's try to be here without doing the necessary steps to get here. And so by jumping up too quickly, I would fall back. So I'm here, jump up too quickly, fall back. And this crash was devastating each time. Alcohol, turn to drugs. I don't know how to handle my emotions. I'm bipolar. I don't know when the energy is going to build up and I'm going to have a break. When the nervous system is going to turn against me. And that feedback loop into my mind is just going to take me off center, take me off my axis. I started taking lithium orate from Amazon, which is, like 5 milligrams versus what I take now, which is 600 a day, 300 twice. And I remember journaling in the fall of 2020 and writing. Like I read Brendan Butchert's what is it? Um, High Performance Habits, and I use his high performance journal even today. I used it, and it's like, what's one thing you can do to improve your day today? Focus. The big letters, and then, you know, what's something else? What's a project that you need to work on even if you can't start today? See above. Focus. and and I look at my journal now, and it's so much more coherent. It's so much more um, planned and well done on a daily basis, like what I'm going to do, and I still can do a lot better planning. And she and I, the girl and I, when we were together, we would even go to the Rotary Club meetings together, on Zoom. We were trying to build a life. Just, and I got an email from the Rotary Club today, and I intend to go back and do some service projects with them, and finally start back again Toastmasters, which I haven't done since I lived in Japan the last time. And this time last year, in 2021, I left the place that I was living. I locked myself in a hotel room for about a month. I didn't do that many drugs, but I drank a lot. And I started trying to emote. I started trying to cathart. I started trying to not just ignore what I was doing, but trying to figure out why I was doing what I was doing. And then I got out. Still didn't have a place to live. So I stayed in a quarantine shelter here. There weren't enough people. They had some extra beds. The crisis center didn't have any beds, so I stayed there as a way to sober up on my own without going into rehab. I started using my calendar on my phone. A friend put me in. A friend gave me some lithium while I was in the hotel, and I got out of the hotel, and that was nice. And I found an Airbnb, and that was awesome. I got whatever the government insurance, so I could see some therapists. So I started talking to people, and then I got kicked out of the Airbnb. Then I ended up back in the hotel room, not knowing what to do, unmoored from the universe. It was just last year. It's probably May, June. It's May. I got out around the middle of May. Oh, that was my first trip to a psychiatric hospital. Not just like detox in the emergency room from alcohol withdrawal symptoms. So I kept going back to my old patterns of drinking because drugs would have been too much, and I thought I would have died. And alcohol, that was always there, and I just wanted to sleep and ignore things. And today I ran around the park near where I live, and There was a homeless guy just on the sidewalk, his ass out, pants down, filthy, ankle swollen, passed out, no will to live, like in pure survival mode, asleep, like a sad, poor, pathetic animal. And I've been there. And there are higher and lower levels of consciousness, and there are higher and level lowers of awareness, and I have accessed them all. And some of them are not meant to be accessed. Some of them are not meant to be in. It is touching a part on the edge of human evolution that our bodies and our brains are not built for. And the converse is, while we can be our worst and can be built for that, we are blessed to have consciousness. We are blessed to not be animals, but yet we all have that inside of us. We all have those shadow sides, to be the worst versions of ourselves, to be the most pathetic and miserable and downtrodden and animalistic versions. And I think I know that the best versions of us build one another up, and the best versions of us help one another elevate our consciousnesses and fill in those gaps for one another so that we can become better. And I started dreaming again, and in one of those therapy sessions I was like, I want to start an integrative healing co-op, but what am I going to do? And I've been thinking about that for years, and in 2019, maybe 2018, and I researched it in 2022 at Pepperdine, was to get a PsyD. That would be the way that I would help my community starting off, and then hopefully go into other leadership positions and share my story. And I took like 300 yoga classes last year, from May to the end of December. End of May. May 26th, I think, was the first day that I started using my unlimited yoga pass. And it was a mental transformation, and it still is a mental and physical transformation, in patience, in focus, in higher consciousness, in steadying the mind, and in organization. And the more steady your mind is, the more grounded and centered you are, the more focused you are, the more organized you are, the greater use of your higher faculties that you employ, the less like you are the homeless guy who was basically a sleeping dog on the street today. Yell at me, comment at me, fuck me you if you want, but I've been there. I've been that dog, and so I can speak to it. And it feels like shit. And I was almost there again in January. And now, a year after almost a year to the day, next week will be a year, the 17th, to the day that I locked myself in a hotel room. I'm out. And tomorrow I start my PsyD program. And it has not been an easy journey, and it has not been as easy as I thought it would be. And there are so many things that I thought that I could take on that I couldn't. And so the moral of this story is, yes, focus, 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 focus on you. It's not about your partner. It's not about your hormones. It's not about, you know, loving someone else and hoping that person loves you back. It's not about doing great, grand, wonderful things and getting attention. It's focus on you and what makes you healthy and alive and vibrant and clear every single moment. And the more that you do that, the stronger your base becomes, and then you're able to take on more. But at the beginning, your very greatest responsibility is to yourself. It's been a crazy fucked up year. It's been a crazy fucked up decade or more. And I finally feel like I'm able to grieve and cathartic and express to you that by the grace of God and whatever ancestral parts and my friends are inside of me and surround me, I am not that guy on the street. And if you know someone like that who's getting ready to slip or fall, help them, because it is easy to slip and fall and never, ever, ever come back. And if you find yourself in that position where you feel like you're slipping and falling, for Christ's sake, ask someone to help you. Reach out to anyone to help you, because people will help you. And the funny thing is, a lot of times people will help you and listen more to you than they will to yourself. And as Francis Weller said, maybe there needs to be an addendum to the golden rule. That is, treat yourself how you want to treat others. Treat yourself well. No, treat yourself how you would treat others. Because most of us, if one of our friends came to us in need or help, we would help them, we would listen to them. So treat yourself that way. Listen to and love yourself and love all of your little parts. And yeah, let the journey continue. 5 years or so to my licensure. And I'm going to keep you updated as much as possible on how this transformation is coming along. And what I'm learning along the way, how my body is changing and aging. I'm out of tea. Love my tea. And the successes and the failures and the challenges that I have. I'll just, one last thing, adjust that failure part, because as Bob Proctor says, rest in peace, Bob, hold the vision in your head, have the desire in your head, and have that expectation that you're going to meet that vision of your desire. For failure is only giving up and not trying. As long as you continue, you don't fail. And as Canadian psychologist dude says, right? Whatever his name is. If you do enough things and you fail enough, and you know that you're going to fail at things, that's actually a win, because you know, if ultimately you find out all the things you can't do or you're not good at, or you know, whatever, and then all that's left is the things that do work for you. So, yeah. Sweet dreams and aloha. And good luck to you out there.